Someone says something about you right there. In front of everyone, the room goes quiet. Every eye shifts to you, and your mind does something that you didn't expect. It goes completely blank. You open your mouth, nothing comes out, not one word, not one thought, just silence and the sound of your own heartbeat. And that frozen, burning moment stays with you, not for hours, for days. Long after everyone else forgot it even happened. The disrespect wasn't the real damage. Your reaction was. Every single time you froze, overreacted, or scrambled to explain yourself, you handed that person exactly what they wanted. You proved the hit landed. You gave them power over you in front of an audience, and they didn't even have to work for it. And here's what nobody tells you. One embarrassing moment in public can live inside your head longer than 1,000 good days combined. You'll be in the shower replaying it, trying to sleep, and your brain runs it back again, fighting a battle that already ended. That's not weakness. That's what happens when someone catches you without armor in a room full of witnesses. Now everyone gives you the same advice. Stay calm, don't react, take the high road. And sure, that's not wrong, but it's like telling someone to just swim when they're drowning. It skips everything that actually matters. The people who truly carry authority in these moments don't just stay calm. They do something completely different, something most people never think about, and most people never will. By the end of this, you'll know the exact 7 mistakes that quietly destroy your image when someone disrespects you in public, and what the people who always come out on top actually do instead. Pay attention to mistake number 6. That one does the most damage, and it doesn't even happen in the room. Mistake number 1, most people signal that it landed. Not always with anger. Sometimes it's a nervous laugh, a forced smile, eyes that drop for half a second, a voice that gets slightly higher. Nobody consciously notices these things, but everybody feels them, and the moment they feel it, the person who disrespected you wins, silently, completely. The people who've truly mastered this don't perform calm. They become unreadable. There's a difference. Performing calm looks like someone holding something in. Being unreadable looks like someone who genuinely wasn't touched. One is suppression, the other is power. Before you respond, even 1 second before, you decide internally that this moment is beneath your attention. Not because you're pretending, because you actually believe your energy is worth more than what just happened. That belief is what makes you unreadable. You can't fake it. You have to own it. Mistake number 2, most people defend themselves the moment it happens. Someone takes a shot at you publicly, and everything in you wants to explain, to prove they're wrong right there in front of everyone. But watch what actually happens the second you start defending. You give their words a stage. You make the moment bigger. You tell everyone in that room this is worth fighting over. And you've turned a small attack into a public trial where your reputation is the one being questioned. This doesn't get easier when the person has more power than you. A boss who cuts you down in a meeting, a senior colleague who dismisses you in front of the room. The instinct gets stronger because the stakes feel higher. But the principle doesn't change. The second you defend, they control the frame. People who carry real authority don't audition for respect in public. Silence after an attack isn't weakness. It's a verdict. It tells everyone in that room that what was just said didn't deserve the energy of a response. That's not passivity. That's dominance. Mistake number 3. Most people rush to fill the silence. The moment gets uncomfortable and they panic. They laugh it off. They say something, anything, just to make the tension disappear. Because silence feels dangerous. It feels like losing. But that's completely backwards. Silence doesn't belong to whoever is most uncomfortable. It belongs to whoever holds it longest without flinching. The people who come out on top don't rush. They let the silence sit. They let it press down on the person who created it. Think about it this way. When someone spills water on the floor, expecting you to slip, and you just step over it without looking down, they're the one left standing in the mess. A fire needs oxygen to keep burning. The moment you stop feeding it, it dies on its own. Your silence is what cuts the air. That pause, that stillness. One of the most powerful things a human being can do in a room full of people. Now, most people think the story ends in the room. It doesn't. What you do with your eyes in the next few seconds determines everything. And that's where mistake number 4 lives. the one that hands your power away without you even realizing it's gone. Mistake number 4. Most people try to win the room. The moment they get hit, they start scanning faces, searching for someone who looks sympathetic, someone whose expression says they agree that what just happened was wrong. And without realizing it, they've abandoned the one person they should be focused on. That search for approval is visible to everyone, and it tells the room you need them to survive this moment. This cuts even deeper when the person humiliating you isn't a stranger, a friend who takes a shot at you in front of their other friends, a family member who makes you the punchline at a table full of people you love. In those moments, the urge to look around to find one face on your side becomes almost unbearable, because you're not just losing status, you're losing it in front of people who were supposed to protect it. The people who carry real authority lock eyes only with the person who disrespected them, calm, steady, unbothered, not staring them down with anger, just looking at them the way you look at something that doesn't quite make sense to you. That look tells the entire room, without a single word, that you are not rattled. You see exactly who you're dealing with, and you're completely in control of what happens next. The crowd doesn't need to be won. They need to witness someone who doesn't need them. Mistake number 5. Most people let the moment shrink them from the inside out. Not just physically, something deeper happens first. The brain interprets the attack as a threat. And when the brain senses threat, it does something automatic. It tries to make you smaller, less visible, less of a target. So the shoulders drop, the arms cross, the body pulls inward. The mind told the body to disappear, and the body obeyed. Every person in that room felt it happen, even if nobody said a word. The people who've mastered these moments don't fight that response with willpower. They interrupt it with one deliberate reset. After the hit, they slow everything down. One deep breath. Shoulders settle back naturally. They take up more space, not less. Not as a performance, as a signal to their own nervous system that there is no threat here, that they are safe, that this moment does not have the power to touch them. Your body is always broadcasting to the room. The message a shrinking body sends is that the attack landed exactly where it was aimed. The message a grounded body sends is that nothing just happened worth adjusting for. Your body already answered for you before you said a single word. Mistake number 6. Most people treat it as an attack on who they are. That's where the real damage happens. Not in the room, after. The brain runs the moment back on a loop. They pick apart what they said, what they should have said, what their face looked like, and that 30-second moment starts living inside their head for days. But pay attention to this, because this is what nobody talks about. The person who disrespected you in public wasn't exposing you. They were exposing themselves. Every single person in that room quietly registered what kind of person does that. What kind of insecurity sits underneath someone who needs to bring another person down in front of witnesses? People who are genuinely secure don't humiliate others publicly. They don't need to. The ones who do are being eaten alive by something they can't name. And they handed that information to everyone watching without realizing it. The disrespect was never about you. It was a projection, a confession, a window into exactly what that person is carrying. You don't need to defend your character. That moment already did it for you. And the only reason it still hurts is because you gave the source more value than it deserved. Mistake number 7. Most people keep the moment alive long after it's over. They vent to friends. They bring it up again. They need someone to confirm that yes, what happened was wrong. And that need is human, but it is also the final mistake, because every time you retell it, you relive it. You give it oxygen, you let it grow into something larger than it was, and slowly that moment starts to define how you see yourself. The version living in your head is never the real version. It's the version your worst thoughts about yourself wrote, the one where everyone judged you, the one where you lost permanently. That version isn't true, but the longer you keep the moment alive, the more real it becomes inside you. The people who carry themselves above this don't pretend it didn't hurt. They understand something most people never figure out. What the room actually remembers is not the moment, it's the aftermath. The contrast between how they acted and how you moved forward. That silence, that composure, that refusal to give it more life, that is what permanently changes how people see you. Let them keep talking about it. You already moved on, and that gap becomes visible to everyone without you saying a single word. It was never about having the perfect response. It was always about who you are when pressure arrives without warning. When someone tries to pull you down in public, they are not testing your wit. They are testing the ground beneath you, how solid it is, how much of yourself you give away when the room is watching. The people who come out on top aren't sharper or faster. They are simply more settled inside themselves. And that settledness doesn't flinch. It doesn't perform. It just stands there, unmoved. And that stillness communicates more than any comeback ever could. Every time you choose not to shrink, every time you let silence do the work, every time you refuse to give it more life after it's over, something shifts. You become harder to rattle, harder to reach, and people start to feel that before you even open your mouth. That's not just composure. That's who you're becoming. And the person who tried to humiliate you in that room, they felt it too, even if they never admitted it.